before I go up on the stage, I want to talk to you about it. I ask every group I speak with this question. What is the issue that keeps leaders in impact investing awake at night? What are the issues? Raise your hand. What's the thing that keeps you up at night? Yeah? You have to stand up, yeah? You actually make a difference, okay? Yes. Raising money, okay? What else? What are the issues, too? What are the issues that we're dealing with? Pardon me? You have to stand up, who's ever speaking, yeah. Inequality, yeah, inequality, fantastic. So when I think about, yes? Decent returns, okay. So the World Economic Forum does a global risk analysis every year. Who's seen that? Anybody? Yeah? So I'm going to go up on stage because I've got some slides. And one of the things I do with Oxford Impact Investing is we spend a lot of time talking. Because at the end of the day, you're the experts, you're the pioneers too. We're creating something together. Often I'm asked, what drives me? My background is in social policy and law. My first job out of graduate school was working for Shorebank, doing housing redevelopment. Now let's see if I can find this. Is there a, oh, here it is. Is it big and is it useful? I ask myself in every project that I do, is it big and is it useful? And that is actually a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, told to me by her granddaughter, Anne Roosevelt. Is it big and is it useful? And when we think about the issues that we're facing in the world, so what are the issues that we're facing? This is actually humorous, huh? You can laugh. Remember, I was going to put scotch on all the bottles or a Prosecco, yeah? So what does this say to you? What does this slide mean to you right now? What's its impact in impact investing? I just got back from Trump land, right? Where fake news is everything, huh? So, alternative facts. And I think Alex touched on this earlier. Hyperbole. Hyperbole. How do we move into a space where we're not just selling the good because it impacts the brand if we talk about negative? When we deal with the most complex issues in the world, according to the World Economic Forum, and the issues that you're actually dealing with, right? Not just money, not just performance, but actually the issues that we're faced with. As impact investors in a movement, the issues are politics and migration. People moving from one place to another because of the inability to earn a living, for fear, for fright. Those are issues that we face. Poverty and inequality. The have and the have-nots. These are intractable, difficult issues. I just finished a research project. It took me 5 years to do. 1,000 interviews, 15 countries, and 5 continents, asking leaders in social investing how they lead to have impact. What difference are they making when dealing with these wicked problems, the most entrenched, most difficult issues in the world, and we think we can solve them with performance measures? We got to think about that. Lack of access to clean water. Lack of access to food. We often talk about famine, which is happening in Sudan and elsewhere around the world. But we also, and this happens to be in the United States, 1 in 5 children don't have access to healthy food, good food, and are hungry. These kids are actually, it was a project I did with the Kellogg Foundation. Their parents are meth addicts. Their parents are in jail. They don't have access to healthy food. So we think about what we do as a community and the issues that we face and how we as impact investment, as a community, as a movement, can make a difference. The other issue is, what is the other issue? This is the big gnarly one, right? Weapons of mass destruction. Another issue that we have to deal with. Climate change. But the other piece of what we need to do, and I'm only going to ask a few questions of you because we're going to get out of here and go drink, and we can continue this conversation. Are we leaders, when we're dealing with the most difficult issues in the world, demanding results, performance results, are we adaptable? When we're dealing with issues of corruption or dealing with issues of fake news, are we able to adapt in the field of impact investing? Yes? No? Thoughts? Yeah? How adaptable is a bank in impact investing, right? How adaptable are we in international aid? Flexible? Raise your hand. Do we work in an adaptable field? Raise your hand. Yes or no? Yes? Adaptable field, impact investing, is it adaptable? Okay, something to think about. Because stuff happens, right? All those issues are complex and interrelated. They're systemic. They're wickedly difficult. I gotta go back to this. Did anyone laugh when you saw this picture? Isn't that don't we all want to be that when we grow up, that flexible? The idea of collaboration. We've talked about that. One of the issues that we face after having taught or soon to teach 250 students, almost 250 students in impact investing, is the ability to transcend lost in translation. We've got people coming in who represent NGOs, philanthropists, the social sector side that only want to get more money, understand how finance operates, and we've got finance folks who really want to understand the social sector. How do we bridge that divide? Policymakers, stakeholders, finding a common language, finding a common collaborative approach to transcend and transform is one of the biggest issues we still face. And I was struck by this. Two wonderful students came last year from one of the largest banks in Europe. Said we are creating an impact investment fund and a philanthropy fund. Fantastic, what are you going to do? We want to educate children so they don't become jihadists. We want to educate children so they don't become extremists. Do they teach that in finance school? That ability to bridge the divide is so important. And that's what we need more than anything else, is how we work as a team and as a movement. When we don't speak the same language, we don't necessarily have the same goals, and we don't necessarily define outcomes the same way. These are one of the challenges, big challenge. How do we find that language and work together? Community. The biggest issues when doing my research is the how that comes into, not the what. The how, not the what. Creating culture that works. Creating a community internally as well as externally. And often what I've seen for the biggest failures is the inability for finance folks to work at a community level. We've been talking about SMEs and really finding how to move farmers out of poverty. Building those relationships from the top down and the bottom up and finding ways to work together is really important. One of the things that we're going to talk about, so it's are you listening to the communities in which you're working? Are you tapping them for knowledge and expertise? And if not, why not? And are you building a community within your own institution? So I'll give you an example. There was a big bank, was very excited about doing social finance, was going to create a social finance fund. It was announced this shortly after the global financial crisis. We're going to do the right thing, right? We're going to create this fund. We're going to move into this new space. A couple of years later, what happened? The answer was, we don't have to do it anymore. We're making enough money. We're going to put that fund and hide it somewhere. CEO is no longer supporting it. It's gone away. How we maintain and create that community internally to ride through the chaos that we're riding through and actually bring it deep into a culture of an organization. So it's not a one-off. It's actually incorporated into performance measures for employees. And you're meeting the needs of the client, which is a pressure point. But how do we sustain it? Candor. We ask our students and my 1,000 interviewees, So, can you speak the truth when things go wrong? Can you speak the truth when things go wrong? Raise your hand if you think, if you made a mistake in an impact investment and you talked to your colleagues about it and you shared it openly. How many people can do that? Raise your hand. Everybody stand up. Anybody who can speak the truth, yeah, do me a favor. Stand up. Stand up. We're going to just stretch a little bit. Stand up. Stand up, please. Come on. Come on. Yeah. So that idea of actually looking at our failure and talking honestly about it is essential for us to learn as a field. How do we find that safe space to say it's not working? Because we're dealing with intractable issues. Climate change, poverty. Those will always have stuff that gets in the way. Speaking the truth, not using fake facts, not being concerned about your brand, but actually finding a way to embrace that honesty is something that we need to do. Creativity, imagining new scenarios. What's risk look like, and how do you avoid it, and how do you celebrate success? And capital. How we define capital. Money, social, environment, and find that common language that I think is really important. So on that, the last piece when you're dealing with wicked problems, and I know this seems like, God, seriously, it's 5 o'clock, we're going to get drinks now, is the ability to empathize, to walk in someone's shoes and feel what they're feeling when you make decisions. And this is one of the biggest obstacles we face. How do you exhibit and build compassion, a sense of purpose, and a sense of drive into creating change that is profound, sustainable, and scalable, and also make money? So on that, I'm going to say, let's go drink together. Think about some of these questions. It's been a joy to be here, and I truly appreciate the opportunity to be the last speaker in the dark cave for the conference. So I hope that with that, it's been a lovely day. You are the movement. You've got energy. Let's go drink and actually be energized again. Thank you very much.